Hello, hello. Welcome back to Elite Trading Network. This week, it's been a crazy week, lots of back tests, but I'm on here with my good man BMW. uh, Good old days of back testing, so we're back on the grind. But I'm gonna break down my new system or my modified system. Things have changed throughout these last 3 4 months that I really haven't been posting quite a bit. But first of all, we chose oil market from 2020 to 2021. The reason being is I had just done 21 to 22, and this price action is very choppy and questionable. So it's really going to put the system to the test. We're almost going to like stress test the system, which will be good for me. Aside from that, this was the 21-22 test, 300 and something percent, 318. So it turned out very, very well. And so I want to see now what the previous year had in store for us. And this previous year was actually quite choppy, and you guys will see that as time goes on. But yeah, we can go ahead and get started. Now, I kind of am going to give you a very, very brief introduction to what has changed, and then I'll let you know, like, we can walk through the specific changes. But as of right now, we keep all the MAs, everything's the exact same. Nothing changed in terms of that. So once again, we're only going to be trading from 7 in the morning to what time? 7 to around 11 my time, which should be around New York 1 hour before close. So, all right. So, alrighty. Okay. Okay, so as we look at this market, we're starting to come down bearish. Not a lot of money is surprisingly pushing down into it, but more or less just kind of stagnating, not doing much, anything important rather. So one thing I could do, jump down and start scalping for shorts here. I flipped the chart, but it's the same thing. Now, price action is very, very volatile, so there's probably not going to be anything to do here for a while. Lots of money comes into the market. We continue this bullish trend. We failed to push lower and we just bursted up through. Now, I think this is after market. Yeah, this is after market hours for us. So skip to next day. Make sure yep. So now as money has come into this market, we're a lot more confident in what we're kind of anticipating from the actual market. So going on to the 4 hour, very bullish, trending, hourly, same, 20-minute. Now we're going to want to look for a very strong candle with lots of volume. Now we do have red news coming up, so probably going to skip all this. However, one thing you're going to notice here is this candle in particular. While it looks very small without any special, in my previous system, this certainly wouldn't be a entry validation candle. But now as I start to look a lot more deeper into the actual candles themselves, you kind of go to realize that candle size very rarely has to do much with volume and more with volatility. So if you see a candle that's this small, some would think, oh, it doesn't have a lot of volume behind it. But that's not true. This candle actually has more volume than the previous candle. That's, half the size or twice the size in this case. So, or like, I want to get a better example here. But for example, this candle has a lot more volume than the previous one, and they're almost relatively the same size. So candle size has nothing to do, or very little to do, with actual volume and more volatility. So you got to be careful with that, because this could be a very good indication that the market's going to go. But if you're not looking at volume, or you can't look at volume trends or spikes, it's going to be very hard for you to be able to look into this. Now, we are an hour out of news, so I'm not going to take it. And we just fall off. So I think that's going to be it for the day for us if we can't build back up. And yeah, we're kind of done for the day. Nothing really built up in our favor. Off to the next. Okay, we open, we gap up. I'm telling you, this market is a little crazy right now. Nothing to do. And we get a nice little spike right here, but this is at market close, so none of this is
Oh,
valid.
I think the thing with FX replay is that if it's like Friday and you go to like next market open through the shortcut, it just opens on Sunday, and I think you gotta click it a few times.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, I noticed that yesterday.
But if it weren't whatever day, this would have been a valid entry for me. kind of constituting everything that I've taught in the previous system, so nothing new there. But going on to the actual Monday open, yep, 4 hour, lots of money. Hourly is kind of weak, but on the 20 we can step down and look for good volume spikes and nice candles to come in through. Just kind of falls down, nothing to do. Gonna go back up to the 4 hour. 4 hour, we're just kind of stagnating here. Yeah, and there's really nothing to do. There's not a single good entry in here that I see. So good for us. Kind of just get to save capital and chill back for a little bit. As you can see, this market's a little crazy, but now as we start to see some sort of distribution, play out here, if anything, I want to start looking into sells. Yep. So now jumping into what would be our first few hours on the market. This previously would have been a valid entry. It's no longer a valid entry because there is no significant volume spike. Volume has remained consistent across the board right around here, these last few candles, and then we have this one outlier. So why are we going to enter into a market that we know volume isn't even supporting? Yeah, the candle might be big, but that's more insight into volatility more than actual volume, right? Volume is consistent across these candles. Like this one, this candle right here had the exact same amount of volume, but is likely half the size, right? Quarter, 3/4 of the size. So yeah, regarding that, candles like these, entries like these are no longer valid for me. And that's why some of you guys will see me on the Discord taking entries that look really low and like down here. And you're like, why are you doing that? Like, it's not what it looks like. And actually, I'd rather choose this system any day, right? So it looks like we do have some red news here. And this would have taken you out. Now look at what starts to happen. Volume starts coming in. Do you see that strong indication? Likely, I don't know if there was red news. I should have news on. Yeah, I do have news on. So something happened here. Either way, we didn't get tapped into this, right? So that's the beautiful part. And then this is a valid entry. My thing wants to work. This is a valid entry, and this is a valid entry, right? So let me erase everything so it's clean. We're going to go to the very, very first potential valid entry right around here. I'm going to go up to the 4 hour. 4 hour, very clean. Hourly, clean. 20-minute, clean. So what just happened? No valid entries up to this point, and then this candle with a lot of selling pressure comes in, and this is where buy stops us in, or that's where we set up our entry. So I step down to the 5-minute, go here, and I don't know where my ATR, yeah, ATR 0.39. So I'm gonna just same rules as before, 0.39. But now what I'm doing is, I know a lot of us were struggling with buffer zones for ATR stops. So what I do is I simply set my entry halfway up an ATR, and I risk 1%. So I've increased risk by 0.2 as well. And that's why it's just been such a killer system, right? One trade that makes you 2 RR makes you 2% on your account. It's kind of crazy, but you have to be very, very consistent with your system, because if you start to mess up, then one loss is equivalent to 1%. So 5 losses, 5% on your account, right? And it kind of spirals you out of control. So got to be very careful with that. So now, as this plays down and we push lower into the range, one thing I will do is adjust my ATR. So now we're at a 32 ATR. And now I'll slowly start to push this lower, because this is now an ATR away from our entry. So I'm a lot more confident. Okay, ATR continues dropping down to 30 and pushing slightly closer to our entry, because it's going to take a lot more money for us to push, or volatility, whatever you want to call it. It's going to take a lot more energy to push this far away versus this far away. So that's why I'm willing to push it closer. ATR is now 24. Going to decrease that. And I'm actively changing this as the market's playing out. Like I'm always on the go. Now, on this candle, I would have modified the ATR. So notice how it stopped me out. This candle right here spiked our ATR to, what was that, 33? So would we still be in on this? We would still be in on this. Yeah. So on this candle right here, I mean, I did play it a little quick. this candle alone spiked our ATR. So I'll wait for it to. I think it was, what was it? 29 right now. 5 minute. Yeah, I'm just double checking everything. Get tapped in right away, move to break even. Still at break even. Still at break even. Gonna consider managing now. Still at break even. Now I'm gonna manage 70% to probably right around here, 3.5. Still at break, or 3.5 or 70% at 3.5. Now I'm gonna manage to 4.3. Gonna take off 70% here. Okay. And then the remaining is still at break even. So we'll see what we can do here with this remaining amount. Oh, and market close. So at least for us, close the remaining amount and call it good. So go to the next day and just rinse and repeat. Kind of the same thing. Once again, looking for sells, 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. Gonna wait for volume to come in. Now, as we look at this particular candle, I don't trade before 7. So if we were to trade on this candle, it would open up at 7. So that's valid. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. So as we look at this particular candle, the riskier you get is going to depend on what your threshold is for volume. That's kind of how I based my system a little bit. So for example, if this volume candle is up to here, then you have effectively no liability. Like a lot of things are stacking up in your favor versus if volume is where it's at right now. You probably have less than 1 standard deviation worth of error in your calculation to be able to allow this to be almost like a confluence in your favor. So this is where your own kind of testing comes into play, and you ask yourself, is this something that I notice over long enough time is going to make me money? So I go back, I look at every time frame, good, good, good. And then I look at the 20 and I ask myself the same question again, and I'd say, yeah, it's worth the risk for me. So I come in here because I'm also banking on the fact that the volatility, so 0.14, that this gap right here is actually going to allow me or allow the market time to do whatever it needs to before getting me tapped in. So I'd set up something like this. Notice half ATR is going to be away from my entry. Get tapped in, get tapped out right away. And then it likely goes and back to break even. So you get the general idea now. We can pick up the pace a little bit, but you can see that the idea there was this entry at 6, 7. Yeah. So this was our entry. We just so happened to get stopped out by our ATR stop, and that's okay. So going on to the next day, we'll pick up the pace here a little bit. 4 hour still sells, hourly gonna wait for money to come in. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. So now as I come into this market, a couple good things here. If you want to consider this, now I'm still doing testing on the particular weakness at the high kind of entries. So I don't take these right now, but kind of dependent on what the money's looking like at the moment. And nothing to do. Going to the next day. Money still short, hourly good. So on the 20-minute, I'm just going to wait for money to line up here. Gonna wait for money to come in, and nothing happens. Go to the next day. Still selling. There we go. Money starts to come in. Good. And on the 20-minute, well, I kind of skipped a little too quick, but this is our 7 a.m. So at the close of this candle, it's going to be 7:20. There we go. We come into this market. Once again, looking for sales, hourly good, 20-minute good. And finally, we get one good strength candle. And notice what happened. Lots of good money came into it, and it blows everything else out of the water with volume. This means some institution, someone with a lot of money wants to sell this thing right now. And I don't care what the reason is. I don't care if we swept the lows or any of those fancy shit. All I know is that someone wants to sell very heavily, someone with a lot of influence or power. So let's get in on this fun, right?
It's like the legitimate way of trading with the big money.
Yeah, like I don't really care like who sold or why or anything. Someone sold.
Yeah.
Someone with a lot of money sold. So I'm gonna make sure I sell too. That's the idea behind everything. So get tapped in, probably move to break even right around now. Probably take a break even. Give me that break even. What
Your
time is it?
B rolls are still the same as previously.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm tight with that now. I don't want to risk my money unnecessarily. So now I'm gonna look to partial 70% somewhere. Yeah, so I'll do 70% right around here. Okay, and I'm gonna close my entire position at 2, right before 2 actually. Cool, close everything. And notice how simple that was, bro. Like I just come, look at the candle, say volume blew out, 20, right? Yeah, there was a lot of volume on this candle, and then that's where the spike happened. Like if you go back and look at every session, there's always going to be this one candle that just so happens to start everything. That one candle that just so happens to start everything. And it kind of sets the precedent for the entire day. Like, I mean, this candle was very weak and didn't interact with MA, so that doesn't count. But there's always going to be that one candle. Where's it at? At 820. That kind of just sets the
Yeah, you took
precedent.
that one, I think.
What was that?
I think you took that one.
Did I? Oh yeah, this is the one we took the break even on. Or no, that was a loss actually. My bad. But okay, so rules are very simple. We're not going too far away from what my system used to be. Now it's just refining validation candles to what I've seen tested. So now we're still looking for these longs. And yeah, just gonna wait for money to come in. Nothing to do, go to the next day. Waiting for money to come in. Nothing really happens. Yeah, there's no valid much of anything here. Wait for the next market open. Yeah, this market's kind of dog, not gonna lie. Okay. I don't know what we were thinking when we chose this market. All right, money starts to come in bear direction. So we're looking for sells again. Hopefully I don't skip too far into price action. But once again, these are your dangerous entries, as I call, or your risk entries, because there's not, you know, that could just be volatility playing into your volume metric right there. So I would have just stayed out. This would have been your first valid candle to buy through, but there's too much weakness at the high, so I'm just skipping. So I'm just gonna wait for market to either fall back down and give us something half decent. But yeah, there appears to be nothing here. This is too late because I don't trade past 12. Go to next day. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. And what time is it? 5, 6, 7:40. Look at what just happened. Something blows out of the water. Lots of volume. Right? 4 hour is good. Hourly is good. 20 minutes good. And then this is maybe something that I'd put some risk on. 0.12 ATR. Probably going to take a loss here. Nothing new. Move to break even right away. That's not a break even, by the way. That didn't tap me
Yeah,
out.
I know. It's because the FX replay would jump behind the
Yeah.
entry price.
Zero 0.12. There we go. Oh, well, my entry was put a little high. My bad. That's on me. Hopefully we still stay in this. Okay, take a break even. How much do we move? Just curious. Yeah. Okay. Coming back into the market. Take a nice little break even there. Wait for the 20-minute to line up and do something interesting. Nothing happens, so gonna call it for the day. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. 20-minute. Look at what happens again. Now this is before market open. Like this is before I'm probably even awake looking at the market. But there you go. This might have been red news. I don't know. What time was this? 6:20. Comes back down on 7 in the morning, which is valid for an entry at this point. That's your buy stop. And look at that. I don't know if it comes back down to us, but right? Just look at that
Yeah.
perfection, bro. Like if I go back to just to this candle, or let's suppose I even go back to 7 in the morning. So next candle is 7 in the morning. What do I notice here? There's one big candle here that wants to sell heavily over this high. That's all I know. Like at this point, someone sold a lot. So I want to get in on that. And it's not my trading session yet, but one thing I know is there's a lot of selling pressure right over this high to just take it. It wants to. It's shown that. So if you want to jump down to even a 1 minute, there's going to be a fractal reaccumulation. And that's exactly what's going on here. We're breaking down. We're whatever you want to call it. Here, let me not use that tool. Breaking down, taking lows, hitting demand, ready to take off again. Like everything's fractal in this sense. I just kind of look at it from very high level and don't focus too much. But at the end of the day, 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. And yeah, we see that. We get a little bit of buying coming in to kind of mitigate those orders or whatever order book balancing, whatever they might want to do. And then on the 5 minute, 0.9 ATR, 1%. Okay, continues falling. Move to break even. Still at break even. Nothing to manage to. I'd probably give it just a little bit more time to stabilize and then push off. There we go. I'm going to manage 70% to somewhere around here. 70% to somewhere around here. 70% to somewhere around here. Okay, gonna do 70% to somewhere around here. Just kind of guesstimating. Okay, take off 70%. Go up to 20 and gonna close everything at 2 p.m. So I'll go to here, mark it off. Okay, 2 p.m., close everything. Simple, right? It's not that big of a change.
Very simple.
It's just some of these very, very small changes to the system really can change things up for sure. So coming back into the market the next day, let's see what we got. Yep, and market just gaps up. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. So depending on how we close here, we might have a valid entry here. No, not quite. So I'm going to wait for the market to stabilize. Nothing happened. Go to the next day. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. So now we're just waiting for the exact same thing. Notice, nothing significant happening here. We're waiting for something important to happen. Oh, something happened. But this is likely to not get supported. And actually, someone's going to sell, aka like the inverse of buying, all these positions back up. And we're going to continue riding to this high. So let's see what happens. Yep, the move doesn't get supported and we continue pushing higher. Now, a couple things with entries like these. If you notice volume, very significant here. Now, the way volume and MAs work can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. And what I mean by that is this line right here, this MA that I kind of use as a guiding, like I kind of use it to compare it to each previous candle. The way this is drawn is by taking the average, or in this case, the exponential average. So closer candles are going to have a lot more weight to the average. The way this works is we're simply averaging whatever the length of the indicator is. So you have to be careful with this, because if you have these last, let's say 4 candles with lots of volume and you're comparing it to the next candle, which also has lots of volume, it's not going to be a very true indicator in regards to volume spike due to relative volume. Does that make sense? So like, you're not going to see, If the last few candles have had a shit ton of volume, then the next one, if it does have a lot of volume, it's not going to stand out in the crowd. It's going to look just like the other ones. And you might say, well, this candle, doesn't have a lot of volume relative to the other ones, but it's like your relativity gauge should be like down here. This is what you're kind of comparing it to, the baseline. If you compare it to the ones with a lot of volume, then yeah, you might think, yeah, this one is no different than the other voluminous candles, which isn't true. Because as we play this out, you're going to notice this, like, for example, this candle right here had a lot of volume in it. Like this is a key part right here. Now, it wasn't enough to offset and get your attention is what I'm saying. This candle alone, if you look at it aside of all these, you're going to say, well, there's no interesting volume spike here. So what we're waiting for is for there to be a stabilization in market condition and then a lot of volume to come in. And that's what we see generally with most of our entries. So now if we saw a giant red candle, it's market closed. But if we saw something like this, but red, then that would get our attention. So we have to be very careful in understanding how MAs work, EMAs in this case. So we'll go to next day. Nothing interesting happened there. 4 hour just kind of flatlining. Gonna wait for hourly money to come in, and we just fall off. So gonna wait for the 4 hour to stabilize and then build back up. Coming in on our session, so I played it a little quick there. Session opens up. Go into a 20-minute. And the only thing that my eye catches is this candle. And this candle isn't valid, and that's it. But this candle isn't valid, even though it would have been in my previous system due to the lack of volume. So we're going to wait for restabilization, flatline, and then wait for volume to come in. Now it's market closed, so there's nothing there for us. Are you still with me here?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm sorry. So this is after market red news, it looks like. So you got a couple options here. Notice what's happening. Stabilized market, pretty flat line. Someone wants to sell. Potential entries over these highs. So let's go take a look. Look at the 4 hour. 4 hour is indeed good, I'd say. 4 hour good. Hourly good, 20-minute good. So once again, given that red news is kind of close, you just have to approach with caution. But yeah, these entries don't look bad at all, and they're actually stacking confluences together. This had a good amount of volume spike relative to previous candles, and same with this one. So you might want to consider taking a sell here. ATR is going to be 0.2. Going to move this up quite a bit, about half an ATR, and see if we can get anything here. Falls back down, adjusts ATR. Now we're back down to 0.17 and just falls off. So nothing to do there. Gonna wait for market restabilization here. Now we had a lot of volume come in on this candle, but it's just not, I don't like it to be that low in the range. Once again, coming in at 10 in the morning, look at what we're getting again. None of these other candles were valid. So go to 4 hour, hourly 20. And as we see here, lots of volume coming in. This is a good volume spike. Candles moved away, looking very clean. I might consider a sell here. ATR 0.16. Something like that. Okay, ATR 0.16. I'll adjust this a little bit. See if we're still valid here. Still valid. So let's see if we get tapped in. Get tapped in, probably a loss. Cool. Market's kind of falling off here. So I'm going to stop talking, but if you have any questions, just ask me.
All right. Actually, wait, I have a question with like the volume.
Yeah.
How do you only get it so that it shows volume on one time frame? Like I only notice it's on the 20 minute. I don't know if you have to press a certain setting or not.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Visibility.
I forget those exist. 'Cause I
Yeah.
rarely use them.
I hate it appearing on my other time frames, so I
Yeah.
just turn it on for that one. Red news. And there you go. This might still be a break even, but it was a nice little entry. Break even on this. Yep. I'm not even going to put that one down because it was break even, but the idea is there. And when I backtest, by the way, I usually take it very slow like this, and I go through and I'm looking at each individual candle, what volume looked like, trying to memorize it. Does this look like anything I've seen before? And over time, you build like this database of, oh yeah, I've seen this before. This is how it went. And over long enough time, you start to notice these trends in the back of your head.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
What length MA do you use for the volume indicator? Because I noticed there's an MA there. It's like the white one.
Yeah. So I've been tweaking around with a lot of different values. I've been using everything from, because this is the 20-minute that I have it on. So on the 20-minute, I've been looking at anywhere between 1 to 5 to 10 hours. The idea is to have it. This is kind of just my own invention, if you will. I've never read or heard anyone else do this. But the idea is you want to space your MA length so far along that it catches the what do you call it? It catches these general market spikes right here. So it catches general trading hours with minimal volatility, as you will, or volume, or what's the word? Um, without a lot of noise in the data, if that makes sense. So the idea is to set it far enough where you get the general trading hours, but exclude all the little noise in between. That way, it helps you differentiate between, if you go look at pre-market hours, it's very flat. Now, if I were to come here and change this to right now I have it at a 3. I think it should be, I've been playing from anything from 3 to 7 to 8. But if I were to set this to 8 times 2, right? 8 times 20, notice how much longer it becomes, how delayed it is to adjust itself. So the idea is I want a really fast moving one, comparing it only to its previous, predecessors in this case. And this helps a lot to get in a lot more on the action. Now you can play around with it a little bit to see what kind of matches your criteria. The more volatile this is, or like the more the shorter the MA, the more volatile and good result in a lot of mixed signals. So you just gotta get good at noticing what goes well. So I'll keep it at a 3 right now, but I play around with this quite often.
Okay.
So I just recommend that you go and play around with it and see what it does to price action. Like, for example, would this be a valid entry? No. And then I'd come here and look at it again with a 2. It's a little bit more valid, but not so much. So yeah, I think anywhere between like a 3 to 5 is an okay metric. I'm tired. What a crazy day. Okay, nothing to do here. Yeah, man, lots of shit price. Not gonna lie. Market's just kind of
I mean, we
going.
were anticipating it. We looked at it a little bit beforehand. And
Yeah, we knew this was coming, but we'll see how far we get, because I think there is potential here. So like, for example, right now, if you were to look at this candle right here and compare it to the previous 2 or previous 3, same volume relatively. We got a small spike in volume. Now you can come here, adjust it. Now we want to compare it to the previous 2 or 3 or even 5. If we set 5, it's going to be a lot more valid of an entry, right? It takes a lot longer for it to adjust, and it's accounting for this long period of low volume that's being factored into what this is now. So that being said, that's where your discretion comes into play. Is this enough volume difference in what I've seen long term to be a valid entry? And for me, no, I need to see a lot more volume coming into this. Even though this candle did display a lot of volume, it wasn't valid. Too much weakness at the high. Once again, is this valid? You have to kind of ask yourself, because remember, you also have to consider the fact that the previous candles had a lot of volume in them. So now this, if we were to increase this to maybe a 6, then yeah, now it's valid, right? Now we're pushing away on both of these. But otherwise, we're below it and we're not meeting that threshold. So it kind of comes down to you. This candle would have been the only one, assuming, let's suppose the MA looks something like this. And for some reason, these just happen to have a lot of volume. This candle would have been the only valid entry for me at that moment, because this one, I mean, it doesn't indicate to anything moving in the direction that we want it to. So I'm not going to enter on a market condition where it's not really telling me where it wants to go to. So only valid entry, likely this one, not this one, not this one, not that one. But yeah, still not going to take it. Going to give this market time to kind of stabilize a little bit. I don't know what the hell it's doing right now.
you think like it's moving weird, like right now where you're playing it, and it's eventually gonna fall off.
Well, that's exactly what just happened. Yeah.
Well, it's the start of it. It's like
I don't know how long it will go for, but it definitely is falling off for a little bit.
no, I just like when I remember watching your, I think your most recent one, and then when the price action started to look like that, let's say the 4 hour, usually more likely or not, it was gonna fall.
Yeah.
Go the
Yeah,
opposite
you just
direction.
kind of can feel it over time.
Yeah, I
You can
started, I think, notice that in my own testing too.
any valid entries. Now you come back. This was valid entry, there was red news. So not valid entry. What's the very next entry after that? Boom. Not valid, not valid. So this is your only entry, right? Oh, my bad. My bad. Can you see everything?
Yeah.
So this was your only entry valid. Damn it. My keyboard. There we go. This one, after red news, that's not valid. So yeah. Hang on, everything got moved around. Okay. Come back up to the 4 hour. Let's see what's going on here. So we can kind of, I can give you the narrative. So given this kind of price action, I'm already anticipating distribution. And I want to hop in on it as soon as possible. Like if the candle was down here, I'd even argue it's too late. So the idea is to get in as soon as you notice something. Now we're starting to break down, break up, break down, break down, break up, break up, break up, break down, break down. This to me is a very strong indication of, I don't know what's coming, but it's not good. We're heading down for a little bit. And the moment I start to see the 4 hours start to do anything in that context, I'm going to want to follow it. So 4 hours starts to fall off a little bit, hourly as well, 20-minute. As we dive into this, hourly supporting, 20-minute supporting, volume is coming into that opposite direction we were looking at, and it gives us a potential entry right here. The fuck? Okay. So there you go. Is this a big enough volume difference for you? For me, it would be, but it comes down a lot to what the candle looks like too. There's no solid yes or no. Like it's not just, did it cross, the MA, then we're good. Because a lot of these crossed very slightly, but they still weren't valid entries for me. So it'll take time adjusting to it, but for me, I mean, it's been one of the best changes I could have done. So very good. Gonna move this just slightly higher, something like that. Keep adjusting that ATR. So as you know, that wasn't a tap out. Price actually has to buy stop us through the SL. So we'll just go one tick higher to 15. There we go. Might be a stop out anyway. We'll see. Waiting to break even on this push right there. Immediate break even. Maybe a break even. Yep. Cool. And then there's nothing for us to do, probably. Nothing. To next day. 4 hour, we continue falling off. So kind of follow this, see whichever way we can. Gonna wait for the 20-minute to line up with our kind of narrative here. Couple things here. Notice there might be a lot of volume. That doesn't mean you should be trading, especially right before red news. So let the red news play out. And nothing happens. Go to the next day. Keep it simple. 4 hour, still falling down. So jump down to the... Hang on, I gotta clear this shit. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. Now if we come here, oh fucking A, market close. Why does it keep doing that? There we go.
Yeah, it's the Sunday open thing. I think it might be a glitch in FX replay.
Never had that problem before, so that's weird.
Yeah, it just started happening recently.
Gotta just manually skip. But yeah, you can see that distribution that we anticipated all the way from back here. I think it was from like this candle when we started falling. I already knew what was gonna happen. So that being said, I'm still falling shorts here. We're gonna see if we can get in on anything. Okay, doesn't constitute much, and then boom. So these are a little more dangerous. Once again, it kind of comes down to discretion. However you want to smooth out the lines, however you want to gauge everything, that's kind of up to you. I still mess around with the numbers to see what it'll look like under different market conditions. Because if you do like a 5, everything kind of matches up. So I like it to be a lot tighter. So at this point in time, there's not really any valid entries here for me. Right?
Yeah.
Four-hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. Market's starting to come up a little bit. We got this 4-hour. Gonna wait for the 4-hour to show us what it wants to do. Okay. Kind of made it very clear what it wants to do right now, and it's to reach for these highs. So we're gonna allow the market to do whatever it wants to. Notice how there was no valid entry here for us at all. We start off at 7 in the morning. Not a single entry in here. And no matter which one you would have taken, I don't know why the hell this keeps popping up. No matter which entry you would have taken here, it would have been a loss. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So notice how powerful that is. The volume simply tells us, hey, there's been no significant event for you to get your money invested into this market right now. So 4 hour good, hourly is good, 20 minute. Gonna wait for the 20 minute to show something worthwhile. Notice, small candle, yet again, volume has a lot of hidden information here. Where do you think this market's headed? And lo and behold, there you go. Just based off of the first couple of candles, their volume, how it went, you know, kind of tells you a big story here. So then you go and ask yourself, where were the valid entries for me? Well, definitely not this one. Definitely not this one. But this one's pretty valid. And we met our criteria here. And it's after 7.
Wait, so is the third one more valid because it's above the MAs?
Well, it has to do, for me, it has to do a lot with what the weakness at the high looks like.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Notice
That
how
makes
these have
sense.
very big weaknesses, like at the high, and then look at how small this one is. This one's almost equivalent to the size of the candle, or is. So I'd rather go with one that shows a lot less weakness and almost like giving in to the bullishness, or in this case, bearishness, giving into the bearishness where it wants to push up higher. Because remember, we're looking at the chart flipped. So
Yeah.
these few candles show a lot of bullishness coming in, pushing against it, and this one's like, I'm kind of giving in, and then boom, we just flip. So if we go and look at this candle individually, we'll see what it looks like on the MAs. 4 hour, once again, scalping for longs or sells. This thing doesn't fucking disappear. Okay. Yep, good. Hourly, good. 20 minute. And then if we go and look at this volume, plus remember these are before 7, so we can't. I personally don't trade them. And then look at the amount of volume that comes in. Like this is something that I certainly want to get involved in. Come here, ATR 0.18. Something like that. Move it a little bit higher. If anything, because we are so far away from actual price there. Get tapped in, probably take a loss. Nope, move to break even. Still at break even. Hasn't really moved enough for me to want to do anything. Okay, now we're starting to move. Gonna look to manage 70% to somewhere around here. I'd like to manage 70% somewhere to around here. 70% to somewhere around here. Gonna close everything at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. rolls around, close everything. And that's how I managed to just break even at the start and ride all the way up to 7 RR takeout. Go to the next day, 4 hour good, hourly good, 20 minute good. Wait for the 20 minute to line up and we'll just fall through, nothing for the day. Go to the next day, 4 hours still holding, hourly good, 20 minute good. If anything, nothing here has been valid for us, even though there's lots of volume in the market. I want to see this thing collapse. There we go. And probably nothing for the day. Here, let me pause this.
Seriously?
Yeah. So let's get back into it. And then we can take a quick break here in 20-ish minutes, if that sounds good with you.
That's fine.
Cool. All right. Continuing on. Yep, market close. And I think we got absolutely no opportunities in here.
Wait, did you start recording again?
Yeah.
Okay, I was making sure.
All good. Okay. Going to the 4 hour. 4 hour holding, hourly holding, 20 minute holding. So once again, I'm just looking for my opportunities to pop up here. These are too weak to do anything with, and it's before. There we go. We got our candle. Now I don't know what's gonna happen here. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. Notice how this red candle right here, or black, is our first candle to meet any sort of strong volume criteria. Now, I don't know what this one's going to do. It might go, it might not, but let's run it and see what we get. ATR 0.21. Something like that. Move our entry quite high. Probably take a good old loser on this one. Okay. 20. Gonna wait for a potential reentry. We have a couple options here because this one, once again, this is a really advanced concept. It's gonna be hard for a lot of people to understand. But because this previous candle had so much volume in it that it introduced a big spike into our MA, it's going to be very hard for this candle to match it. Even though this candle has the necessary volume criteria under any other condition, the problem is that the previous candle almost like screwed it over, right? So now if we were, if we were to average this out over a longer period of time without this candle messing us up so much, then yeah, this is a valid entry and this is a valid entry. But because the understanding is there, I don't know why that opened up, because the understanding is there that the previous candle had so much volume in it, we can make exceptions. That's totally up to you. Like, there's no rules to this game. You get to write them all. So would this be a valid entry for you? Comes down to how you want to trade. There's so many rules you can just create out of thin air and say, I like this. Why? Because you like it. Because the testing has proven it. So once again, this could be another valid entry for you, depending on how you like your rules. Not for me. Okay. And likely market close here in a second, so nothing to do here. Okay, coming into Monday. 4 hour, just kind of falling off. Nothing to do. Gonna wait till our next day. Nothing to do, nothing to do. 4 hour, likely to continue pushing down. Something like that. Yeah, I could continue looking for sells here. See if we can catch anything. Nothing. Continues pushing higher. Gonna see if we catch anything here. Good for potential sells. What time is it though? So if you look at this particular candle, this one wasn't valid given how low we were after red news. It's just not a good look. But if we look at this one, volume came into it, spike of volume, and it's within our allotted time. Gonna see how valid if we go back. Looks like a break even anyway, but I still want to go look at it. On the 4 hour. Yeah, this wouldn't have been valid at that time though, because the 4 hour is just so low in the range. So gonna go to our next candle, 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. Gonna wait for the 20-minute to line up with something good. Waiting for money to come in, nothing comes in, nothing comes in. We get our first volume spike on this candle, but that's not an entry for us. So skip. Get a potential second, that's after our market close, so that doesn't matter. Okay. 4 hour, we're still holding, pushing higher. And jump down to our 20 and see if we can catch anything here. Lots of volume comes in at 8 in the morning, but notice the weakness at the high. This is when you ask yourself, is this worth to offset, right? Is this a variable that I'm going to look away from given the amount of volume that comes in? And go back and test it for yourself, right? My general rule of thumb is that if the candle, so this here, I can use this one. If it's less than the candle size itself, then it's worth it. But more importantly, I want the majority of the volume, so the body of the candle, this area, to be larger than the majority of the wick. And I want it to be higher up. I don't care about the wick on the bottom. That's regardless, because this is where the opposing power came in to push it back down, if that makes sense. So the idea is to have it as tight as possible. Like, I'll take really small candles too. So This was 8 in the morning, and this is our very, very first entry if you look at volume as well. So you can trace it back to this candle and say, yeah, that's probably the first candle I would have taken. Okay, look at the 4 hour as well. 4 hours just super strong, hourly super strong, 20 minute. It's just one of those things that you have to look at and ask yourself if you would offset. Aside from that, no other valid entries, so we're all good there. 0.46 ATR. Cool. Boom, boom. 0.44. Can tighten it up just a little bit. Stop, break even. Hopefully we don't get tapped out. Move to break even. Right about now. And close the entire position at 2 p.m. Oh, 2 p.m. So close everything. Nothing interesting really happened there, so. Goodness. Yeah, this shit is breaking a little bit. Okay. There we go. So market spikes to hell. That's going to be fun to deal with. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20 minute good. So now stepping back down to the 20. Looking for the same thing. And we just fall off. Don't do anything. Go to the next day. Nothing, 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 nothing. That's our next day. 4 hour good, 4 hour good, hourly good, 20 minute good. Gonna wait for volume to come in. Not valid. Not valid. Next day. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20 minute good. Notice what happens. This is kind of up to you once again. Volume spike over the highs, moving away from the MA, good push, and it's in line with every other time frame. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20 minute good. Now this 20 minute is a little suspicious. This volume spike could be due to volatility or natural variance in the data. That's the risk you're kind of subjecting yourself to, but I am totally okay with that understanding. So 5 minute ATR is 0.19. Oh man, I'm tired. All right. Just ATR to 17. Probably keep it somewhere around in the area, something like that. Probably take a loss here, nothing new. Well, that wasn't a tap out, but you get the idea. Break even. So this should have been a break even. It's just one tick down, but you get the idea. Break even on that very, very strong candle. Like so. Go back up to a 20 minute. Nothing valid. Nothing valid. Done for the day. 4 hours starting to fall off. There are potential for some really nice sells here. So let's go take a peek. Go to a 20 minute. Nope. Starts building back up. Looking at this. 8 in the morning. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Nothing valid for me at least. Falls back down, not touching. Gonna come to our next session. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20 minute good. We'll wait for bearish money to come in. There's just nothing, bro. Sec 4 hours
This
still
might be the
holding.
beginning of the bad price action, you think?
Probably. I'm just waiting for stronger money to come into this thing. Yeah, you can tell there's minimal volume in terms of how you get those massive price spikes. There you go. And then, yep, now we're starting to move again. But this is the only candle I kind of highlighted back here. Lots of movement. Once again, you are kind of limited down to how you want, how, like, you can call this almost like a buffer. How far you want to move from the volume MA to be valid. Like, you can make it as strict as measuring out exactly how much. But that's I kind of am a lot more subjective to a rule like that. So I'm gonna skip it. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good.
Did you hear background noise by any chance?
No.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I had to mute for a few seconds. I didn't know if
No,
you
you're
heard
all
it.
good. Not
All right.
valid, not valid. Only first one is valid. And you can see why volume is really good at this. Volume will actually help you stay away from extended markets as well, because when you're too extended and a lot of volume has flooded the market, it's going to be a lot more hard to meet that volume entry criteria than it will if the market's like this flat. Because one big spike in here is going to disrupt all the data versus one big spike here isn't going to disrupt much. If anything, it's going to fall short. So that's why it helps to not get involved in trending markets or like extended markets in that case, because once we hit the third or fourth candle that's moved far away from the MA, by this point, none of these entries are valid. We'd need a lot more volume to validate any of them. So when we go back to our very, very first candle, this is our first sign of like insane strength with the understanding that the previous ones also had insane volume in both directions. So now, as a jump higher, 4 hour good, hourly good, 20 minute, yep. This is going to be like your very, very first and only entry. 0.26 ATR. Move a little higher. Move to break even. Probably just take a break even here. Still at break even. Gonna see if we can manage. We'll manage 70% to somewhere around there. Managing 70% to somewhere around here. 70% to somewhere around here. Take off 70%, wherever that was at. Go up to R20. And see if we can manage the remaining 20 or 30% somewhere else. Gonna close everything at 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. Oh, got taken out anyways. Cool. So 4 hour good, hourly good, 20 minute is all right. I'll wait for 20 minute money to come back in. Nope, falls down. 4 hour money coming back in slowly but surely. So we're gonna give this market a lot of time to baseline and then build back up. Now, as you see here, looking at the 4 hour, hourly, 20. Only valid entry would have been this one. I'm gonna actually replay to this one to show you. No, it's a little weak on the 4 hour. It's like really pushing the boundary for something that I'd want to see or do. So I'm gonna skip it, but depending on how your system is built out, you can take that. But you do get a secondary entry, which does look to be a break even. Let's go take a look. Push into it. Yep. So on these two pushes, that would have been a break even. So nothing there either. Okay. Wait for the 4 hour next day. Wait for hourly money. There we go. Hourly good. 20 minute good. But notice no entry here on the 20. Nothing, 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 nothing. And we're done. Four hour likely is going to start falling, or I'll wait for a 4 hour. Yeah, we're getting a lot of chop here. So if anything, I can continue looking for longs. There's still potential here. And notice what we get plenty of volume coming in. No tap in, so that doesn't matter. Done for the day. Yeah, this is where the market kind of just turns to shit. Go to our market. Yep. Do get a little bit of push here. I don't know if any of them are valid. We have one valid entry, but it looks like we're going to get taken out either at a loss or break even. Get tapped in. Move to break even on this candle. And then, yeah, break even on that one. And then not valid on there. Hour good. Hourly good. 20-minute is all right. Wait for red news. Yeah, not much on this one either. 620. And there you go. This would have been your very, very first and only entry. You can see the giant volume spike and then preceded by the next one. Let's go look at this on the higher. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good, and only entry on the 20-minute, not valid, not valid, not valid, not valid, not valid. So yeah, now you see how this works as a really, really good filter. ATR 0.13. Tapped in, move to break even very quickly. Probably gonna stay at break even or take a break even. Cool. Done for the day. Wait till our next session. Nothing. Potential sells here. This is where the market might start falling, and there you go. That was easy.
Cool.
This appears to be all red news, so can't do much of that with anything. So at least now we have a very good idea of where the market's headed for a while. With that, lots of red news, so let all that play out. Only entry potentially would be this one, but notice the weakness at the high. And then you get these like triple candles forming. I need to compare this one though. Yeah, this one's valid. This one's not valid. This one's valid. Looks like a break even though. And then no other entries. What time is this? 10, 11. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip it. Even though it is valid. Okay. So we're probably gonna continue falling here. I want to see something like this, likely. Nothing. Really nothing going on right now. Okay, we start building back up. I don't don't know if there's anything available here for us. Still falling or building up, I guess, in this case. So on the 20, let's see if we can catch anything. Nope. None for that day. Yeah, I just want to see this market continue falling, which is primed to do that right now, actually. So give it the time it needs. Probably one more candle. Another. Waiting for that volume to come in. Now this is all red news, so to be very patient. Four-hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. Yeah, back testing is the most boring thing on the world, but
It's the best thing in the world you can do in trading.
well, yeah, but you get bored of it very quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
Only entry is this high with that volume spike right here. So consider something there. ATR 0.36. Even I get bored of back testing, bro. But we have to break even right out the gate.
I remember when you said you used to do like, what was it, like 10 plus hours a day?
Yeah. There was a period I did 16 hours nonstop. But that you'll learn very quickly that is not sustainable and it doesn't do you any good.
Yeah, I probably like after a few hours, I start overthinking. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, once you solidify a good system, that never really happens again. But my brain right now, we've been going for an hour and 12 nonstop.
In an hour. Oh yeah, it's 8 o'clock where I am right now.
So this is your first increase in volume here. I'd say this one might be your first. Yeah. So if we go look at it, you get tapped in, move away, break even on this push, and then it comes back down to take you out. So notice how my break evens now are right away. And I like it. I like it a lot. Not valid.
It's better. It's better like when you have like a high B roll because it's probably better for your psychology and it's just like, oh, nothing to worry about. Most of the time I'm gonna catch Bs.
Dog shit price action.
As I don't see any clear direction.
Yeah. This is more of a gamble, if anything. But
It just looks like a giant range.
there's potential here. First entry would be over this high. And then a lot of consequent entries here, but it's kind of up to you. This is the first and only entry I saw because if you look at spike in volume at this point versus all the others, you can tell this one takes the cake. So
Yeah, it's the beginning of it. It's not like Vime already came in.
yeah, that's where I see the first like node of volume that caught my attention. So if I come here, 4 hour, still looking for longs. Like there's still potential here to fulfill this, you know, taking out these highs, but yeah, That's like the very first and only thing I see here. Okay. ATR 0.25. Something like that, because we are quite low. ATR goes to 0.24, 0.23. Get tapped out here. No other entry available. Yep. If you're ballsy, once again, I'm still testing size of candle relative to wick. For me, right now, there's not a solidified rule. I just don't like to see a lot of weakness up at the high. I don't really care about the low. But I do notice a lot of these do love to run. So generally my entry validation candles look like these or like these. But I've been doing a lot of testing on very, very short and stubby candles as well. And for some reason they love to run too. So I'm starting to realize that I over refine my system in those aspects. I'm trying to find a good example here. But yeah, I definitely over refined a little bit in terms of entry candles. So that's why I took a step back to redefine everything. So like this could be a valid entry. This is a valid entry. Not valid, not valid. This is a valid entry. So you see what I mean?
Yep.
Not only am I looking at MAs, I'm also looking at volume. I'm looking at the MA of the volume and how it's interacting with specific volume nodes. So that would be a valid entry. What time is it though? 11:55. 20. So I'm allowed entries till 12. So this could be a valid entry. I'm tired. 32. That's a
Oh
G.
yeah, that's if I'm tired.
Are you tired?
I mean, yeah, I've been actually going to bed a lot earlier because I've been like waking up to go to the gym earlier because the time I went to like a month ago, just too many people.
Yeah.
Because everyone like, because the time I went, everyone would be coming home from work and their jobs and whatever, and then that's when also like the high schoolers get home from school, and
Yep.
then
I
yeah,
feel
it's just
that.
too much. So
What
I
time
just
would
go like as
you
soon as I wake up.
what time would you usually go to?
What I used to go to
Yeah.
was like my time like 3:30 to 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Yikes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
you
like
probably
rush
only
hour.
yeah.
Okay, 2 p.m. rolled around. I had to close. Wasn't a whole lot of profit, but the idea is there, right? This backtest is
Yeah.
more or less to show you what the system looks like. Now, we probably chose the worst market to do or to demo this on, but once again, you have a lot of weakness at the highs. I don't like to see that. I'm gonna wait for money to come in. Money comes in, but not valid due to MA. More money comes in, still not valid. More money comes in. So this is where you kind of get to choose. Are these candles valid because of the kind of volume overdrive that we have in this region? So kind of have to ask yourself those questions. But yeah, not valid, not valid, not valid. This is the still not valid. Yeah, none of these are valid for me. So cool. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Still nothing, nothing, nothing. Cool. Money starts to come back in. Waiting for volume. No valid entries there. But yeah, if you want, in a few seconds, I'll pause and we'll take a quick break.
That's okay with me.
Yeah. It's gonna be a long night tonight. Yeah, this was our candle open. Cool. Looking at the 4 hour. Potential sells coming in. Nothing to do here, nothing to do. First volume spike happens right around here. And then potential entry. This was a potential entry. I missed it, whatever. But we do have this as a potential entry. TR 0.44. Probably going to be a loss, but I'll take it. Yep. Nothing to do here. Back to the next. 4 hour. Waiting for bearishness to come in. Volume does come in. Waiting for a fill. Depending on where you place your entry here, I always place it half ATR above. So that definitely wouldn't have tapped me in. My entry would have been like up here. Aside from that, fell down. Market close for us. Next day, 4 hour, still going short. Good, hourly good, 20-minute good. Red news coming up. Nothing new. Okay, accidentally skipped our session. 4 hour. Money starts coming in, continuing to go up, I guess. Yeah. Go down to a 20-minute. Nothing too interesting here. If you'll notice this candle, it's about the same size. This could be a potential entry depending on how tight you are with your volume. Not taking it. There we go. So this is our very, very first candle we get with a lot of volume. Once again, kind of up to you if you take it or not.
You say that one has too much weakness at the high.
Kind of comes down to you. I'm still in the process of testing, so I don't want to be too confident in saying one or the other, right? But given my testing, I prefer not to see weakness at the high. Now, this is based on my old system when I over-refined, so I'm kind of removing those deep parameters. But yeah, this would be a phenomenal entry. I'll still take them in certain back tests and others I won't. Kind of comes down to what I'm particularly testing. But bearish, good. Yeah, so this is just good. But once again, some back tests I do it, others I don't. On live markets, I wait for a cleaner candle per se, with a lot more volume in on it. 23. Waiting for a break even. Break even somewhere around here. Oh, and we skip market close, but it's about the same height. So 4 hour, money coming in, hourly good, 20-minute good. So market's starting to clear up a little bit. That's good. Red news coming up though. Waiting till 7 in the morning for a session. That's 7:20. So this one was almost valid, but the fact that we were too extended kind of invalidated it for me. None of these entries are valid right here. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So yeah. Yeah, I think it's best we take a quick break here because we've been going for an hour 30, hour 25
Yeah.
without a single break like that. So that's probably ruining our performance a little bit too. But if we want to look at equity curve so far, it's not too bad. It's actually not bad at all. We're up 45% in a pretty shitty market condition, not gonna lie. So we still have 2/3 of the year to go, but this is how it's looking. So not bad. Let me,
That actually looked really good.
and we're back. So let's continue this back test. I'm going to be talking a little bit less just because we kind of got the process underway and I get tired of talking so much. So looking at this current market condition, just distribution at this point. I mean, if we're looking at the real chart, accumulation, we're starting to build up and hopefully build out into here. But yeah, we'll just take it slow, step by step, and see what the markets have in store for us. But gonna go to next day. There we go. So it's the next day, starting to distribute, aka accumulate on the other flip side. Gonna give this market a little bit of time after red news to see if anything interesting happens. Nothing yeah, nothing really built up here. So kind of done. Yeah, just kind of giving this market a little bit of time till next market open. Likely to continue distributing from this point forward, something like that. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Gonna give this market a little bit of time. And nothing happens. So once again, I told you we were gonna enter a really bad market condition. This is kind of it.
It's the beginning of the bad one, you might say.
Yeah, I don't see us making much profit from here on forward, but you never know. So once again, too much weakness at the high, but I said I haven't ruled that out, especially on this system. I'm still collecting data on that, so we'll just kind of play it cool that way. But yeah, nothing too crazy going on here. Okay, once again, 4 hour, just kind of waiting for it to melt down. So I can be very patient here and just wait for money to come in. Just kind of chopping back and forth, which is all good. Notice how price is super choppy. Not like you can just tell right away there's nothing in here. So if anything, I might skip on the 4 hour until we get a little movement out of this range. There we go. That's on our session too. Jump down to 20, see if we missed anything in here. Not valid, not valid. Nothing. What time was this? 8:40. Not valid, not valid, not valid, not valid. So pretty much nothing. Yep, done for the day. Go back up to 4 hour, 4 hour going, hourly going, 20-minute going. So here on the 20, red news. So gonna let all that play through. Red news plays out. Gonna wait for money to come in. Now this is an interesting one because this might not look valid based on my previous rules, but if we take a look at volume, if we look at strength, where it came from, baselined off the MA and pushed higher into some sort of range within, what do you call it? The previous range is high. So for me, while this looks crazy, I remember I posted a trade like this and one of you guys asked me, like, why'd I take an entry so low? It looks so low. But for me, this looks really valid considering the context at play. So if I go back to this specific candle, the thing that really pushed me over to take the trade was volume. And it looked just like this actually. So if we go to the 4 hour, pushing out of the range, it was really clean, hourly good, 20-minute good. And so looking at this 20-minute, we can see lots of volume really pushes up. Like this is a substantial volume node right here, pushing off the MAs, pushing into some sort of high. This for me was relatively valid. I kind of like that. So I just took whatever off whatever high, which was 0.25. Because I remember an entry just like this ATR, set it above, and then call it good. Should be a little tighter of an entry, but that's okay. Move to break even, very simple, quick. And then gonna manage at 1 to 3 likely, or just close at 2. There we go, 2 rolls around, close everything, and that was like maybe 2 RR worth of profit. Go to next day. This is Sunday, I believe. Right? Sunday. Yep, so this is Monday at 7 in the morning. Perfect. So looking at this 4 hour, we finally pushed out of there. And if we flip it, as I said, we'd be distributing, I even said it like back here from this point forward, just distribution forward. And we continue pushing down. So are you still with me here? You following?
Yeah.
I think we might have a couple opportunities here on the way down, but we'll see. So this is an important example. Once again, going back to the idea of how MA averages work. This is very important. Lots of volume played out in this last candle right here. What that means is it's going to almost skew our anticipation or the way we view the data for the next candle. Because if this one wouldn't have been all the way up here and somewhere to here, then this one would have been like a huge mover and it would have caught our attention. But given the fact that the previous one introduced a lot of volume, then this next one is going to look a little less important, right? So this is where you start to ask yourself the question, all these candles are important. They all have a shit ton of volume, but relative to each other, to each one, it looks like they have none. They're all about the same volume. So you have a couple options here. You can wait for volume MA to restabilize, and then for a large spike, that's option 1. Option 2, these are valid entries too, however you want to do it. There's a valid entry over this high. Which one was it? Yeah. No. This one wasn't valid. Technically, we didn't peak over MA. However, given that rule again, you could have it as valid. This can be a valid entry. Which one is this? This candle? Given the fact that the rest are super, super voluminous, you can also consider the fact that this is a large spike node in this pool, of limited volume here. So kind of up to you. It's a dangerous game to play. But now, what happened? We got that stabilization, and then this next candle set something up. However, it's not valid for me, just given that MA. But, okay, and would have likely been a break even to a loss on all of them, it looks like. So I likely prefer to wait for a candle like this, stabilization of volume, and then clear push up, right? Just given my testing, not
It
valid.
doesn't seem too hard to grasp.
What was that?
I said it's like it doesn't seem like too hard to figure out.
No, usually it's just look at it enough times, do enough back tests, and your brain will pick up on it. So, nothing here, nothing here. Yeah, and we're just kind of chopping around now. So next day, cool. 4 hours pushing higher, hourly's pushing higher, 20 minutes pushing higher. Once again, if you're crazy, good entry. Is this valid? Not valid. And this one's semi-valid, depending on how far you want to push your boundary. Now, a very important thing that I haven't mentioned yet is actually changing my MA rules a little bit. So the way we use MAs right now are, we can call it dynamic demand and supply zones. It's a way of understanding how the money's moving, and when we demand, it's very dynamic in the sense of this is where I want to get positioned, this is where I don't want to get positioned. Like if you're looking at it super surface level, because I don't want to get too deep into it. So there's something that I'm still testing and it's still coming together for my personal, set, but it's the idea of what is the proper threshold that an MA should be within a candle to be considered validation candle, right? Is this good enough, or do we want it deeper? Or can the candle be up to here, the bottom of the candle be up to here and have that much distance? And that's a question that I've been looking for a while, that the question to answer. Same thing here. I'm going to go back to this specific candle because this is a good entry. Back a couple months ago, my very, very specific and strict rules said, if we're not touching the MA at time of candle close, I don't want to touch it. Now, the reason my rules have changed a little bit is that this world isn't perfect and that there will be times when you get very, very, very close to the MA and it's still not touching. So then I introduced the idea of, what do you call it? The anticipatory validation candle. It's the idea that if this next candle pushes up at least this much, then that MA will touch it. But that got a little complicated for a lot of people to understand. So then I said, screw it. I'm going to visually come up with some sort of metric that I can use to test, to kind of validate what this distance would be. So I kind of came up with that through a lot of testing, and I said, okay, this is what I like to see. Like it. Let me go to a couple examples here. Valid, valid, not valid. Valid, not valid. Valid, not valid. Valid, valid. Right? So it's a very specific distance that I've just kind of grasped through the testing. Like it's not any specific value or anything special like that. It's this is valid, not valid, not valid, 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 not valid, 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 valid. So it's the entire idea of it's not going to be perfect. So I'd rather get in on more opportunities and take a few more losses, but get more runners than take the potential away from getting more entered. Like I'd rather risk money a little bit more. And so same situation here. Technically not valid at the time of candle close, but given that extra little rule that I added, this now becomes a valid entry. So looking at this 4 hour, pushing away, hourly good, 20-minute good. And we do have a valid entry buy stop. Now, notice how there's a lot of weakness at this high. What did I say about that earlier? Well, I kind of commented that my previous system didn't like that at all. But I'm starting to realize this leads to a lot of buying pressure. Like this is a good indication of buying pressure. Followed through with volume, and you're gonna have a really good market condition if all your biases and everything align. So that's something that I really wanted to include in the mix a little bit. So then you'd step down to your 5-minute or whatever entry time frame you use. Here, ATR is 0.14. And then just run it up. Keep it simple. 0.16. So I needed to adjust that stop loss to 0.16. Either way, it wasn't a tap in. Or actually, it might have gone through. But yeah, unless candles push, it's 0.16 ATR. There we go. Hopefully we save ourselves here. But yeah, ATR. Move to break even. I don't remember if this ran very far, but we'll see. Depending on how far we just ran, I'll probably take a 70% here. And we get taken out for the rest. I think I moved to break even, right?
I believe so.
I hope so. Okay, I don't remember if I did. Cool. Then we go back up to the 20-minute, look for another re-entry. Now, once again, same idea. This volume is a little, the volume of this candle's MA is going to be slightly distorted simply due to the fact that all the previous candles were full. So if these were smaller candles, then this one would be huge. So be careful with that. That's like a really hard thing that a lot of people might struggle to understand. Now this is red news and at 12, but this would have been another really good entry. Probably break even there. That's why I don't trade past 12. Looking at this market, 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute. So now we're going to look for a good entry here. Red news here, but look at this candle. This one's not looking too bad. We're going to see how it plays out until market open. Volume starting to increase. Potential opportunity over this one, which, you know, good confluence with the previous high. And we just kind of fall down. Nothing to do there. Go wait for a new build up and we just fall down. Cool. Go to the next day. And now the 4 hour is chopping a little bit. Looks like we just kind of really fell off here. likely gonna see a continued build up here. That's kind of what I want to see. There we go. Gonna wait for money to come in on the hourly. Bullishness, yep, good, good. So 20 minute, maybe missed an entry here, we'll see. Once again, this is kind of up to you. Nothing valid if you want to be very strict with a lot of volume coming in, so we'll just skip all that and wait for a very good candle. Okay, we continue distributing, pushing down lower, perfect. Looking for the 20 minute. What time was this at? 6:20, so we gotta wait. And nothing really lines up here for us. Good volume on this candle, but it's at 12, so we can't take it. 4 hour is starting to build up, well, break down a little bit. So this might be something worth following here. We'll see if there's anything worthwhile. Take a look. And there you go. What time was this at? Yeah. Probably going to be a break even, so I'll just play it through. There you go, break even trade. And then this one's a little sketch, but valid. Break even. Oh, this is like way past market close though for us. So
I was about to say.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, kind of what I'm anticipating from this market. If we just look at this, I want to see this build up this way. That's all I really want to see. We're distributing, but we are building up. This is one of those like questionable zones that I might just stay out for a little bit. So let's see. There we go. So we build up. See if we missed anything in here. Probably this candle. Yeah, break even candle, so it doesn't matter. So we'll just go to the next. There we go. Market open was on this one though. So I'm going to flip the chart here to show you what I'm looking at. Let me get some water. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to wait for this market to shape up a little bit. We got red news, so let that play through. Right about now. Okay. Notice, good candle, but not enough volume to support the move, so I'm just going to skip. And the volume comes in later, so it's just one of those things you got to suck it up and move on. Okay. So still waiting for this continuation to fall down a little bit. And we're kind of expecting not to catch a single trade here for a little bit. So I'm just going to skip. Waiting for volume to come in. We get a little bit of volume, a little weakness at the high though. Now you got a couple options. Generally when I see a market like this, which I saw a couple today, you might want to be very, very cautious. There's not a whole lot of volume in the market. And the only entry I saw was over this high. So it's one of those situations. I don't know. Yeah, this is a break-even trade regardless, but volume's a really good indication of whether how a market's going to perform or not. Once again, another entry here, but I'm very certain it's going to fail just due to volume. And it'll just chop around. Go to the next day, nothing to do. Next day starting to fall off. We'll give that hourly a little bit of time. Just falls off, nothing to do. Next day. 4 hour, we're just going sideways. This might have missed an entry in here, but probably nothing that good. Yeah, there's nothing good in here at all. So next we'll back test a better market condition because these are, this market is pretty all right. Nothing to do, nothing to do. Lots of volume came in on this candle. Once again, questionable entry, just given the volatility and condition of this market, and about to be market close. Nothing to do there. Get to next day. That's Sunday. Good. 4 hour. Starting to fall down a little bit. Give this market time. Give it more time. Give it more time. Give it more time. So we kind of missed that. That's our market open. Okay, so as we look at this market, I really don't have much bias. There we go. 4 hours starting to shape up. Hourly good. 20-minute good. Only entry I see is this candle right here. And we have red news coming up in... Oh, we got time. 2 hours. Let's go look at this entry. Now, personally, when a market's in this condition, chances are I'm not really going to be looking at it. Until this candle right here, I'm not going to be looking at the market. So it's either you kind of got to be very lucky when you're looking at the charts. You always got to be on them if you want to catch like a random opportunity out of nowhere like this one to follow it down. Hourly good, 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute is very valid. But yeah, just look at how helpful volume can be in a situation like this. Just so perfect, man. Boink. Yeah, it just kind of removes any potential trades that you were going to take before. Yep. So ATR is 19. Probably can tighten that up a little bit more, but move to break even. Next couple of candles, hopefully. One more, strength. Come on, there we go. Strength comes in. Nothing to do, nothing to do. Probably take a break even. Oh, I was supposed to close that too. My bad. I'll just close it now. Probably like a 1 hour trade. Yep. So yeah, we're only going to catch like really, really small trades going forward. Market's starting to fall off here. Gonna look to continue sells here. See if we can catch anything. Probably just gonna go. Nothing, nothing, nothing. This is the first potential candidate for a sell. Volume was no different than all the previous candles, so we want to wait for like a good volume spike. This is the only one, but it's after hours, so we can't take that. Okay, nothing to do here. Just gonna wait for the market to fall off. There we go. No valid entry. This is your only valid entry. Very likely a break even, and then nothing else. This is gonna be a very boring back test for the rest of it, by the way. Okay. Gonna go to our next session. Which is this candle. Yeah. I'm probably just gonna end up skipping a lot of this. I have anything looking for long. We'll see if we get that, and we do. So I'm gonna go back to it. Is that 8 in the morning? Yeah. So we'll take a peek here. Yeah, so 4 hour. All I'm kind of looking at is delivery this way. If we go up to the daily, we'll see what we have here. Yeah, falling daily quite well. So good on the daily, 4 hour good. If anything, gonna wait for the 20 to line up as well. There we go. Daily money came in at 8 in the morning, so that's perfect. If we're looking at this market condition, lots of chop, very minimal trades, but it reminds me of a trade we took back here that looked very, very similar. We took a trade right here, and it looked just like that, and notice what's happening again. Same setup.
Is that in correlation with like what you said, like you try to get in early before like the big run happens?
Yeah, before I used to wait to like down here to get entered. Now if I see this building up with very good context, I can write it down. Like before I used to wait till like right here till I'm like super confirmed, And I learned that most of the time, if not all the time, it's gonna go. Like the moment we flip, it's gonna go. It's gonna go. It's gonna go. Right? It kind of goes, probably a break even. It kind of goes. It's gonna go. Like it goes all the way. Goes all the way. Goes all the way. So I asked myself, well, why don't I simply just get in? Like if you have this idea about the market and you've proven it to yourself multiple times and kind of worked here, probably a loss in here, and it worked and worked. And then I started looking for longs in here, fell back down. And then we're in this market condition sideways. I'm expecting this continuation down. So that's that would be my entry. Yep. At 8 in the morning. ATR is 0.17. So we'll go for something like this. Boink. 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 Falls back down. Probably gonna adjust my entry here. That's a little tight, but we'll see what we get. 0.15, so I can adjust it just a little bit more. Something like that. It's gonna be a little tight of an entry, but what was our last ATR? Yeah. So take a good L on that one. See if we get a new re-entry. And we don't, it looks like. Yeah. Take a beautiful loss there. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute is all right. Nothing to do, nothing to do. Gonna wait for the money to come through. Once again, this could be a valid entry depending on what kind of trader you are. I think that'd be a very quick stop out. Yeah. Because your ATR was probably like, what, 0.17? Yeah. And then you just kind of wait. Very volatile market. And we just fall off. So once again, shit market condition. I don't even know why we're trading this. I'm just forcing shit. Yeah, there's nothing here, nothing here. Until this candle. So we'll see if there's anything in there for us, but doubt it. Okay. I played it forward again. Okay. 4 hour starting to fall off. Good to follow. 20-minute. We might get something here. There we go. Potential entry right over this high. First valid entry. ATR is 0.29. It's a little tight of an entry, but we'll see how it plays out. Move to break even. Still at break even. Gonna see if we can manage anything. Manage 70% to somewhere around there. Take off my 70%. Go up to the 20. And probably get taken out here. Or just closing the rest at 2. There we go. Cool. And that's it. Oh. Close everything. Go to the next day. 4 hour. Starting to shape down a little bit. I could see this starting to distribute. Good. Gonna try to follow this on the 20. Wait for money to come through, and we just fall to the opposite side. So now we're chopping. Gonna let this market chop all at once. Gonna go to our next. Nope. Probably you could try to follow something like that. I actually could see this happening. So we'll see. Looks like maybe you got one entry here. Let's go take a look. What time is it? 4. So we have to wait till like 7 in the morning. Entry here. Entry here. So break even. So yeah, you got like maybe one good entry. If this didn't stop you out. So I don't know. I don't really care. It was shit price anyway. So money's starting to shape up following this long. Gonna wait till our next session. Nope. Falls back down. Next session. Nope. 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 Bro, this is awful. It's just so awful. Okay, money comes in at this point. So maybe consider looking at it. Hang on. Okay. Yeah. Shit. Shit. I don't like any of this. I would never trade any of this live, by the way, but when you're stress testing your system, you kind of want to trade all of it. There's your entry. There's your entry. I would probably never take something that high, but it might go. Yep. So if you want to take like this entry, that's at 7 in the morning, which is valid. I don't know how this will look. You got the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, this is actually a valid entry. A little risky of an entry, but still good. .12. Yeah, this is awful, bro. So awful. Nothing. We can reorient this a little bit. Something like that. Something like that. Cool. Definitely not tapped out. Okay, that would have been a tap out, so that's clear. Go to next day. Just shit price action. Gonna wait for money to start doing something here. Yeah, I'm not touching any of this shit. Like, yeah, there's definitely opportunities here if you're right on it, but let's go look at the entries you would have gotten here. You would have gotten this entry and maybe broken even. Like, that to me is a waste of money and capital and resources. I need a market that trends. Nothing. There we go. There we go. Good. Let's go look at the 20. Yep. See if there's any valid entry. This 7 in the morning, valid entry right here. Sick. Are you still with me, by the way?
Yeah, I'm just taking this all in.
Yeah, it's quite boring. I know. 20 minute. Yep, this is your first valid entry. 5 minute. 0.13 ATR. Boom. It's a little tight. It's actually super tight. So if anything, when I have an entry this tight, I really don't want to put my entry this high because all it takes is one wick and then like a regular size candle to take me out. So I'd rather get tapped in right away and have all this extra space as leeway. Does that make sense? Anyway, you're gonna get tapped out. Like even if I put my entry, yeah, chances are you're gonna get tapped out. Another entry, if you're crazy, break even. No, that's definitely a loss. Take a loss there. What's that next day? And we're back down to bears. Shitting around. Yeah. Horrible. I don't know who the hell trades this shit, but there we go. Money comes in. This is our session. Good. We're looking for bears now. As if we didn't just go sideways for 5 fucking months, but that's all right. How many months? 72 days, 3 months. Almost 3 months, 2 months, 2.5. So, yep, finally, after 2.5 months, the market starts to clear up a little bit. Just gonna go through this a lot quicker. There's your entry. Any other entries? This is at 640. That's at 7. Here's another entry because you'd get tapped in on this candle. So whichever one of these two you take, sometimes if you're already on break even at one position, you can actually kind of like pyramid into other positions, scale in. But yeah, 4 hour, falling down, good. Hourly, good. 20 minute, good. Wait, yeah, 20 minutes, good. After red news, 5 minute, looking for an entry 0.8 ATR. Something like that. I think we're gonna take a loss here. That's okay. Move to break even. Not yet. There we go. After we tap and go. Whoa. Whoa. That actually went a little far. Gonna do 70% this low, 70% this low, 70% this low, and take out my 70%. There we go. Cool. Now is when go up to 20 and just play forward and break even on the rest. Maybe if it wants to. There we go. Cool. On to the next day, and we collapse back into the shithole that this is. So give this market time. Wait for money to come in. If you were on top of it, you could have gotten something out of this. Probably a couple good entries in here. Just kidding. There's not a single good entry in here because it's a shit market. So skip. Once again, if you're ready and you were on the market, it's probably if you got lucky with this entry, and that's it. Like, not even this is a valid entry right here. It's not good. We'll go take a look at this one, but yeah, it's not looking too good. Yeah, not at all. Going to the next market, next day. Cool. Finally, money starts coming into this market. This is something worth following now. If I invert, yeah, good money. So this is where the money's at. This is where we make our dough here. Good, comes in, but we do have red news, so we got to be cautious with that. Wait for red news to pass, and it looks like we get nothing. Cool. Fall back down. 4 hours still holding, hourly still holding, so 20 minutes still holding. What time was this? 6:20. Gotta wait for restabilization and then build back up. Nothing yet. And nothing. Go to next day. Nothing. At this point, you can start looking for sells off of this candle. See if there's anything, and there's nothing for us right now. Nothing, and we're done. Jeez, bro, this is shit. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but
I know.
we're really stress testing the system here. It's not going very well. Coming in on our session, if we look at this at a very, very high level and we really zoom in, we could probably even log the data. That doesn't really help a whole lot. But if we were to kind of pull out some sort of trend, whatever, lots of little trends in here, this is what I'm looking at. That's all I'm looking at. So if we can capitalize on one small candle pushing down, then that's more than enough for us. But it's just this market, bro. Nothing to do here. Actually, yeah, this would have been a valid entry. Probably just a break even, to be honest. Another valid entry right here. It looks like this one does go, question mark. Nope, break even. And then market close. Let's go look at the 4 hour. 4 hours still continuing what we anticipated. This is the most boring thing ever, bro. Nothing. Skip to next day. 4 hours still going in the direction we anticipated. Probably nothing. This is red news, so it doesn't matter. Waiting for money to come in. This is a very, very dangerous entry. I would never take anything like that. I at least want to see some sort of body on there, because then it's just straight volatility candle, as I would call it myself. Good. 20 minute. Just gonna play through this. Probably nothing good in here. And nothing. Oh, okay. This is killing me. This is like actual dog shit, bro. Boink. Look at that. Chop. And it goes straight to hell. So, yeah, this
like
thing's...
you made a signature with that price action.
Yeah. Give me
Like
just 1 second.
scribbles. Okay.
So, yeah, you wouldn't be touching this for a hot minute. I'm gonna give it a little bit of time and wait for money to come in. So if anything, I just need to see this thing dump. That's that's all kind of what I'm anticipating. Yep, so it's starting to dump a little bit. Let's see if this next candle gives us anything. There you go. So probably a good entry in there, and then we'll do this. Yeah, nothing good here. If you got lucky, you got in on this candle, and that's it. That's like your only entry. And then maybe if you got lucky on this candle, but that's still a break even. I'm gonna go take a look at this one. But like I said, if I'm on the live market and I see a market like this, I'm gonna stay far away from it. So I'm just gonna skip for now. Go to our next session. Okay, finally, something happens. We get lots of money coming in, right? If I were to turn on the volume on this given candle, it'd be huge. So let's see if we get anything. Coming in at 7, so nothing. And we recollapse, so nothing worthwhile right now. But it looks like money is starting to come in. Okay, only entry is this candle, and it's a break even. Cool. Nothing to do here. Next day. Next day. Next day. Yeah, there's just nothing, bro. Nothing. There we go. Money comes in on our session too. See what happens here. Okay. I'm liking this. Looking at this 4 hour, money starting to dump to continue our trend. Something like that. Cool. Going to the 20. See if we get any sort of entry here. Nothing. And we get nothing. Cool. Next day. Probably nothing. Actually, we do get a little bit of volume spike there. So yeah, it looks like we're starting to trend a little bit better than before. Looks like we do have red news as well. Only entry I see would be this one right after red news. And a break even or a loss. And then that's it. I'm just going to skip through most of this. It looks like we're chopping again. Gonna wait for a good chop. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Money comes in on our session. Let's take a peek there. Okay. 4 hour. So if we look at this 4 hour, some sort of accumulation building back up, or you can look at it the other way around, but it's the same thing. Distribution with lots of volume. That's kind of what I was waiting for. Coming in at 7 in the morning. So this would have been a entry. This would have been another entry. And it looks like here you would have taken a loss, and here potentially a partial. I don't know if this was a valid entry though. Let's go look. Yeah, this is silly. It's an okay entry. You just have to be very careful. ATR is 0.07. Something like that. Whoa, my bad. Cool. Probably start to manage something right around now. Maybe like 70%. Go manage 70% now. I'll give it, yeah, we'll just call it now. Okay, stop, break even. Gonna manage the remaining 20 to right around here. Remaining 20 or 30, my bad. To somewhere right around here. Gonna close everything at 2 p.m. And we get tapped out. This was a half decent runner. We have this 4 hour finally starting to have a lot of volume in it. So good, lots of movement, trending now. So going back up to 20. Maybe we get another entry in here. Okay, nothing and just nothing. And we fall back. Yep, good. Maybe another entry in here. All these are potential entries up to this candle, it looks like. And then anything after that is extended for me. But good entry. Good entry. This was red news though, so I'd wait until the next candle. Waiting 20. So this is 6:20, 6:40. So this would be 7 in the morning. So your only entry that I see is this one right here. Now let's go take a look at what this looks like. 4 hour falling down, coming back. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip all this. Probably gonna continue falling down. So if we go back up to 20, I wanna see things play out in our favor here. There we go. Beautiful. Finally. Trending market. Starting to build back up and pushing away. Beautiful.
It took long enough. Only took like 3 months.
Yeah, it happens. No valid entry, not even this one. So market might just go without us. That's cool. What time is it? 9:40. Nothing. There was a valid entry, but didn't get tapped in, and we're done for the day. Cool. I don't think that's a valid entry. 4 hour good. Hourly's a little low in the range, and if anything, I'd want to see a little bit more strength here. Okay, that would be potentially an entry here. Maybe we got saved, and we just fall back down. Hoping to build back up on this 4 hour though. I want to target this high. So we'll wait here. And it looks like we're not going to do it this session. Waiting for some insane red volume to come in. Only entry I see would be not even this one. That's not even valid for me. So, yep, kind of missed all that. Probably do end up hitting our target relatively soon. Waiting till 7 in the morning for our market open. Nothing. Next day. Probably nothing. Nope, nothing. Maybe something here. Nope, not our session yet. This is awful, bro. Oh, okay. So now on this candle, yep, it was this one. We can consider sells. Let's go see here. This is a little dangerous, but still valid. Hopefully we get a re-entry here. And yeah, nothing really set up for us. Yep, done for the day. Yeah, this is probably going to be one of the most boring back tests I've done in a while. Very few people are going to watch this video, that's for sure. Entry here, probably a loss. Entry, nope, no other valid entries. It looks like red news in this area. Yeah, a little volatile. Getting a re-entry here on this next candle. See if we get tapped in somewhere over this high. Probably a break even, it looks like. Yeah, nothing there. 4 in the morning. Yep, this is our session. Give me just 1 second. Okay. The 4 hour. 4 hours still falling down. Hourly falling. 20 minute. Waiting until 7. This is a potential entry as we see volume coming in. There you go. it's dangerous. Like you got to be careful with entries like these, but these I like to see run a little bit. I'll remove all that. Yeah, this is all right. Once again, this is more or less me showcasing my system. Because I do my testing on my own for the most part. So I don't want to be too strict with everything right now. I just want to show you potential entries, where they're at, how do you get in. Probably manage somewhere 30 or 70% somewhere around here. Still in. 70% somewhere to around here. Still in. Still in. Take off 70%. Cool. Go up to 20 and see what we got here. So the rest up break even gonna be moved up. Gonna wait till 1400 and close everything. Boink boink. Close. Cool. Yeah, this 4 hour. Gonna wait for money. Cool. Money starts to come in. And there you go. How much time before red news? 40 minutes. Not enough. So I'm gonna wait for red news to play out. Probably get nothing. Go to our next day. I don't know what price is doing anymore. Looks like we're starting to fall off, so we'll see if we can catch anything here. Once again, this red news, like, it's just not a good combination for anything right now. You're kind of asking to get taken out. I don't know what the hell's going on right now. This market shit.
Neither do I.
Yeah, you can just... Market doesn't know what it wants to do. So I'm just gonna wait. Gonna wait. Okay, finally. So this is kind of what I'm catching on to. Building up. Boom, boom, boom. That's kind of what I'm on to. So we'll see. But yeah, horrible price action. Don't ever trade any of this. Oh, I played that a little quick. Only entries I see here would be this one, a little crazy, this one, and that's it. Break even on that one, and probably a partial or loss on this one, depending on where you place your entry. We can go take a look here. This one you might have actually survived. ATR, you needed at least 25, and this was 21, 22. Yeah, so that would have been a loss. Just moral of the story, don't trade this shit. If you can't clearly distinguish where you're gonna go, it's probably best you don't trade it. Potential entries coming up here soon at 7 in the morning. So there's one entry, probably a loss, and red news. But this was right before red news, so we wouldn't be trading regardless. Let the market do whatever it wants to. Finally, we're starting to reach a trending market condition. Our analysis was right. We were going to do this, but it's kind of hard to tell when you're all the way down here.
Yeah.
And yeah, none of these, keep in mind we're only trading New York, so we're going to miss a lot of really good price action. Waiting for sales to come in. Nothing comes in, nothing comes in, nothing comes in. But it's past our trading time, so it doesn't matter. There we go. Oh, this is horrible, bro. Coming into our session at 4 in the morning, which would be this one. Now it's starting to clear up a little bit because at least we're moving. So going back up to 4 hour, cool. Looking here for some sort of entry at 7 in the morning. But this is red news, so gotta chill out. This is likely a valid entry given that rule that I gave you earlier about what entries would be valid under my rules. So but that's on red news, so we can't take that. All right, we're almost done here, bro. Hang through. Yeah, nothing here. Potential entry off of this high, but red news coming up, which red news is hour 20 away. Yeah, awful. Nothing here. Nothing. There we go. Now we're catching movements. If we go up to daily, it's gonna be part of a larger distribution. So redistribution. Going back down to the 4 hour 20. Cool. Yeah, nothing to do here. Opportunity setting up. And nothing. Nothing delivers. Just gonna give this market time. Almost set up, and then we fell back down. Go to next day. Okay. This is shit. Lots of money comes in. A lot of weakness at the high, but something's still there. And nothing. Cool. Yeah. Okay, money starts to come in somewhat during our session, it looks like. But nothing valid in here. Only valid entry was this one, and it looks like a break even. Money comes in again. If you got lucky, you got positioned nowhere. There we go. Money finally flows in. Okay. So it looks like now we're accumulating to some extent. Which, if we look at the daily, kind of falls in line, I guess. Something's there. So we'll see here if anything sets up. Looking at all this red volume, nothing. Potentially, if you want to push these two candles to be valid, kind of up to you. I will not be doing that. Okay. Wait for money to come through. Money comes in. Good. Finally. This might be something worth trading. Nope. Nothing. Next day. Okay, more money comes in. Beautiful. Yes, okay.
That's a lot better.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. Okay. Let's see if we get anything here. I could see this just collapsing all the way down again, though, so. Maybe an entry this session. There you go. Probably a loss. Yep, break even. And we're done for the day. 4 hour just failing. Wait till our next session. At least there's money in this market now, so we might be able to mess around with something. Lots of volume came in on this candle, and that's it. So maybe a potential long over this high. We probably just went like 4 months without a trade, just to give you an idea.
Maybe something like that.
1, 2. Probably going to be a loss. I won't be surprised. It is. We'll look for a new reentry, and we just fall down. Cool. Okay. Nothing, 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 nothing. No volume, no volume. Only candle was this one, but it was red news. Oh, okay. There's still momentum here, so there's still stuff to be done. Okay. What time is it? There's still opportunity here. We kind of saw this one coming though. This was brutal.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, money starts coming in. If we invert, there's absolutely no trend. If you want to see this as a trend, then sure. But it's a little far-fetched. Like we are breaking down. If we go up to a daily, we'll probably see that. Or even 8 hour would be cleaner. Yep, starting to break down a little bit. This is really all I see. Yeah. So I don't know if we'll get anything next session. Nope. And we got money in. That's good. Shit. Nothing. Next day. Cool. On the 20. There you go. What candle was this? This is a little bit of a dangerous entry once again. You can wait for one with more volume, which would have been this one, likely a loss and or a break even. Potentially, once again, not a lot of volume behind it though. And we get a lot of volume behind this one, but it's too late, so we can't take it. Four hour, gonna wait for more money to come through. There we go. Good, good, good. Got red news coming up. We'll see if we get something. Nope. Fall down. Yeah, this is pretty dumb here. Okay, and I'm not touching. For in the money comes in. Yeah, bro, like there's absolutely nothing here. The only thing I'm looking at is this somewhat something. Nothing, 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 nothing. Go to the next day. There we go, money comes in. Too weak. Nothing. 4 hours, all right. Hourly is all right. 20-minute is 6:40. So gotta wait till 7. Nothing, 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 nothing. And we're done. Once again, like just don't trade this shit. I'm gonna wait for money to come in, wait till our session, which is now. Nothing. There we go, our session comes into play. It looks like there's a little bit of money behind this move. Yep, so now we're trending. We're doing something, and that's good. Fully accumulated, pushing out of whatever that range was. Looking at the 20-minute. 7 in the morning. Not valid. Valid entry. Valid entry. So a couple of half decent valid entries here. We'll take them. Oh, man. Let's never backtest one of these again.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. Once again, this is a little bit anticipatory because I have to wait till next candle open to see what this candle's gonna do. Like if we push up to here, then it's valid. Otherwise, you're just kind of waiting. So we'll wait, and then yeah, This is 620 though, 647. Okay. ATR 0.09. A little tight there, but let's see. Look to break even. 70% here, 70% here, 70% here. 70% here, 70% here. I think that tapped me. Yeah. I'll move the remaining 30 to here. Close everything at 2. Okay, looks like the market's finally clearing up here a little bit. Get to next session. Okay. Let's wrap this up. So 4 hour. Finally we had something good going. Whew. So I'm just gonna wait for money to come in. 7 in the morning. A little dangerous, but yeah. And there you go. That's your entry. Red news didn't play out for another 2 hours. Once again, this is me implementing the idea of volume, what I've discussed before. I'll skip it just to not include that right now, because that's not what I'm testing, but gonna go to our next session. Cool. Probably nothing. Nothing and nothing, yeah. Next day. There we go. Looks like we're getting money coming back in. Go to 7 in the morning. Nothing. Starting to fall off here. Money coming back in. See if there's anything here for us. Okay, yeah. If you held through one of these 2 entries, yeah. I think this is your only valid one if we step up higher. So let's go see. Okay, looking at this 4 hour. Yeah, this lower entry isn't valid, but the higher one is. It's a little crazy, a little early of an entry, but it's so good. Good entry here, 720 ATR is 0.12. Probably gonna be a break even or a loss. Actually, it looks like a loss. Ooh, yep. Saw that one coming. Look for a new reentry, and we're done for the day. I'll wait for money to come in. Money does start coming in. Go into a 20, no entry, no entry. And we're done for the day. See if there's anything in here. Nothing. Go to the next day. See if there's any sells here for us. God, this is fucking awful, bro. Okay. Money comes in on our session. Looks like just break even and losses. There's this entry, and then that's it. So we'll go take a peek. Okay. I have this 4 hour. Money came in, pushing away. Good. 20. Good. A little weakness on the high of this one, but still all right. The ATR is 1.6, 0.16. A little crazy of an entry there. 0.15, 0.13. Oh, my bad. 0.13. Get tapped in, move to break even. Okay, looks like we push. 70% there. 70% here. 70% here. 70% here. Should have moved, but that's okay. Take off 70%. And then 20, well, 30. We'll see where we're at. Gonna move the remaining 30 to here. Get tapped out. Go to next day. Nothing to do here. Probably just gonna chop, 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 chop. Go to our next session. Nothing to do, nothing to do. Next session, money comes in. Good. 20. Looks like a little bit of money comes in. There's your entry. Is it at 7? That's at 8. Looks like that's just a break even. Go wait for more money to come through, and nothing comes through. Done for the day. 4 hour. Money starts to come in. So we'll see if we get anything here. Potential entry over this high looks a little weak though. Nothing to do, nothing to do. Another potential entry, but that's red news and past our time. 4 hours still going. Hourly gonna wait. Yep. Looking a lot better. Potential entry right over this high. These two highs. Let's see if it's a break even or loss. We pushed into it, move far. Yep. Break even. And then nothing for the rest of the day. 4 hours still pushing, hourly pushing, 20-minute good. And getting some good volume out of this candle, but we have to wait till 7. Okay, looks like red news, potentially. That's a crazy candle. So maybe a loss in here, depending on if you would have taken that. Crazy to take this one. I probably wouldn't have. It's a little too much weakness at the high. And that's it for that day. We'll wait for money to come back in, and we completely fall through. Oh, I played that a little quick. Yeah, so if anything, I want to see this thing start breaking down now. Something like that. See if we can catch anything. So bearishness came in at 7. Nothing yet, nothing yet. And nothing. That's past 12. Okay, money starts coming back in. Okay, so this would be our entry candle. Or our session. Cool. Good. So 20, look for our entry here. 7 in the morning. So yep, this would be your entry and not that one. So only one entry here. Oh. Yeah, I still have to eat dinner.
What time is it for you?
2 hours less than you, so 10.
Eat dinner at 10 o'clock.
Well, I'm about to. Got a test, bro. Got a back test, you know?
I ate mine like 7 hours ago.
Oh. Well, welcome to the life of a day trader. 70% here, 70% here, 70% here. Back in my prime back testing days, I'd eat dinner at like 3 in the morning.
Nah, I gotta beat you. I gotta eat dinner at 5 in the morning from now on.
Why is that?
Now I gotta eat dinner at 5 in the morning to beat you.
Okay, nothing to do for the 4 hour. We're almost done here. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. Let's see if we get an entry here. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Looks like this is Christmas time, so probably not going to be much going on here. Yeah, nothing, nothing, nothing. Go to next day. Probably go to next day, next day, next day, next day. And starting to fall off. There might be a sell opportunity here as our very last trade. A little weakness at the high, so nothing. Okay, money came back into the long side. 4 hour good, hourly good, 20-minute good. Probably an entry right here, actually. Yep. Looks like it might be a break even. Yep, break even trade. And it's after market hours, so. And we're done. Bro, that was insane. There you go. Only 32 trades in this entire year. And we managed to pull 143%. There were 2 months that we didn't trade. Yeah, not bad, bro. Good shit.
Yeah, considering it was a bad market.
It was atrocious. Like, even I probably would never trade that.
Yeah, understandable.
So yeah, you get some good sleep, bro. I'm gonna be up for a while, but one of these other days we'll get some good back testing in.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, bro. This is so not accurate. I've done a lot more than that. I feel like it resets so often. I don't know. I don't know if
Maybe it updates and then resets. I don't know.
Lifetime. Yeah, because last week I did like 0. This week, yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem very accurate, but yeah, bro. Have a good night, and we'll back test a better market next time. But yeah, this was all right.
All right, you too. Have a good night.
All right, bye. And that, guys, is how you destroy your brain for the past 3-4 hours. So, can I go to bed now? Well, actually, it's been 2 hours and 42 minutes for an entire year worth of backtesting. And I was commenting the entire time. So, to give you an idea, I mean, granted, I did skip a lot of price, but yeah, this kind of destroys your brain a little bit. Anyhow, y'all have a good night or whatever time it is over there. I'm going to eat my dinner here at 10 p.m. Yep. And peace out. Bye-bye.